When Jamin Rowan, a professor of English at Brigham Young University, first ran the Provo City Lab, an applied English course where students work with city residents and planners on a community project, he learned from his students' final mock interviews that they didn't have a clue how to articulate the skills and competencies that they had developed through his internship course and the other courses in their major.
When I sat in on these mock interviews the students did with the Career Advisement Center, they were terrible. The students just totally bombed these interviews. And I realized that I had not prepared them well enough to talk about what they had to offer, the value of their education.
To help his students articulate their learning experiences, he developed a mix of written and oral reflective exercises. First, because his students couldn't remember the course competencies determined by the College of Humanities, he had them write their own. He told them,
"Looking back at your education, I want you to identify 4 or 5 competencies that you feel your education has given you. Describe them. Give me a 2-sentence version of that competency, what it is, what it enables you to do."
He then helps them develop these short descriptions into narratives.
After they have identified and written down their competencies, I have them develop STAR stories, where they describe a situation they were in, the task they were given, the action they took, and then they reflect on the results or the outcome.
The combination of identifying and writing down their competencies and then developing stories that demonstrate how they used that competency in a previous experience prepares them to describe what they learned through classes and during their community engagement internship. A key element in this process was learning to be concise.
I taught them to keep the STAR stories pretty brief, a paragraph or 2 at the most, bite-sized nuggets that they could use in an interview. What you don't want to do when you get to an interview is drone on and on. I wanted them to write precise stories that would open up opportunities for follow-up questions.
He then had them practice articulating orally what they'd articulated in writing.
I have them engage in job interview role plays about once each week. Ideally, they are prepared to translate the reflective writing activities that they've done into the context of an interview.
Professor Rowan uses Standout, a video recruitment network, to have them practice for their interviews.
I found that when students just did the reflective writing, they were not prepared to talk. To get a job, you've got to have an interview. That was the critical discovery for me, that experiential writing alone isn't enough. But experiential writing that they then take to the oral stage is really good at preparing them for job interviews.
Through reflective preparation for the oral role plays, Professor Rowan saw major results.
For my students, it's eye-opening to realize how community and local governments work, and how easy it is to get involved and how much impact they can have. They present the projects they've worked on to the municipal council, the mayor, and the city planning commission. That in itself is super satisfying. But the reflective part is critical to helping them figure out what they brought to the projects and what they've learned from those projects. An English major, for an example, might not realize how valuable it is to be able to get feedback and then revise a project based on the feedback, to communicate in specific ways, or to learn what it means to work on a team. The reflective writing makes them better prepared to say, I have these competencies that will make me valuable to not just employers, but also to a community.